Okay, so hello everyone. So it will be a short introduction to Scapy, which is a Python library made to manipulate network packets. So who knows about Scapy already? So me, that's a lot of people. So I will try to be fast, and I hope you will learn some stuff. So Scapy, that's a Python-based packet manipulation tool written by Philippe Biondi since 2003, so it's a really old software. And I've been maintaining the Scapy with Pierre Lallet since 2012. We have native support for Linux. Soon we'll get native support for OS 10, meaning that you only go to the GitHub link, you do git clone, and then you can launch Scapy. You don't need external dependencies. We try to do a stable release each Christmas, because that's holiday season, that's much easier for us, except that the 2.3.3 was released in September. We don't have a clean, nice release cycle. You can get the code at this GitHub link, and please start the project. I will check that we have more stars at the end of the talk, of course. There's a documentation, and you can click on the link. If you want to follow along, you can go to the notebook on the GitHub account of Scapy. I also tweeted the link, so you can just follow the presentation on the notebook. So first, packet manipulation with Scapy. Is it big enough? Yeah, okay. With Scapy, packets are objects, Python objects, and you can put network layers on top of each other with a slash operator. So here I put TCP on top of IP, and then I put the packet on top of Ethernet, and I get the nice Scapy representation of the packet. I can use a ls function, like list function, to list packet fields. In this case, I ask for the IP fields. There is a version, source address, destination address, and so on. So you don't know what to do with Scapy, you can always use this function to know what field you can specify. Of course, you can specify like fields, like here, TCP flag fin. Here's the destination, which is Scapy main website, secdev.org. And for you, Scapy will do many things. It will select the source IPv4 address, meaning that by that is doing its own routing table internally. It will also select the good MAC address. And if you use summary methods, you will get a nice short packet string. And in this case, you can see that Scapy selected this source address for us, as well as the FTP data port. So internally, is trying its best to build really good packets and a packet that will be correct on the network. And then, if this packet is received, you can get a correct answer. All fields can be easily accessed. So I have a packet, it's an object, and I can do p.destination in order to get the first layer with a destination field. In this example, that's Ethernet. And can also explicitly access the IP layer with a square brackets notation, pip.source. I will get the source address of the IP layer. We have this funny sprintf function that supports Scapy format strings. So here we'll try to display the source MAC address, destination MAC address, IP source address, and IP destination. And that will be the resulting display. So again, if you want to use Scapy in your own tool, that's really easy to do. A field can store many values. So in this case, I will put 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the TTL field. So a field could be a sequence of values from 1 to 5 using parentheses. And here, if you use square brackets, you can specify specific values. In this case, that's a SSH port, HTTP port, and HTTPS. And this is a, let's say, Pythonic way of doing stuff. The resulting packets, we have like 5 in the first example and 3 in the second example. So that could be used, for example, to do a simple trace route in order to increment the TTL along the way. So of course, our main goal is to interact with the network. So we need to send packets to the network. You need route access on your BSDs or Linux. Also, it works on Windows. So in this case, you need to be admin. So here I will use the SR1 function, mean send and receive one packet at layer 3. And Scapy will match queries and answers automatically for you. So here I will send a DNS query to the Google public DNS server, get the answer, which is P, and then access the answer field in the DNS packet. And then that's the IP IPv4 address of example.com. It's really easy to interact with the server. Next, SRP. So the send functions have the P characters. It means that they are able to send frames, so at layer 2, so that's Ethernet level. So SRP sends a list of frames and returns two variables. The first one is, in my example, is called R. That's a list of queries and answers. And U, that's unanswered. It means that I sent packets and I didn't get any answers. So here what I did a simple example again. I'm sending packet to Google Public DNS server, and I make the TTL change from 5 to 10. So that's like a trace route. I will discover the routers along the way in between me and Google. So what I get this, two variables, results and unanswered. Let's say I want to access the packet, manipulate them, display them. Here, R, that's data I received from the SRP function. R0, that's the first set of query and answer. So R00 means that the packet I sent, and that was the DNS query to example.com. And R01 summary, it will display the summary of the reply I got for the fifth router on the way. And then what I can do is check what was going on. I can check the ICMP error message. So I will say, okay, I will access the first answer from someone, and I will get the ICMP layer. And inside, that's an ICMP error message, which copies the IP packet, and it means that the TTL expired and when reach 0. Okay, list of packets can be written to a pickup file and read from a pickup file. So it's really easy if you want to play with KP, send packets, and you want to do analysis later on, you can just write that in a pickup file. There is also the Wireshark function. You call Wireshark on a list of packets, and it will launch Wireshark that can also dissect the packet instead of KP. So write pickup, read pickup, and then I can access a packet. It's really simple. Sorry. The command method is also fun. For example, you open a pickup file. You have a packet which is a Python object, and you want to send it again on the network. And command does that for you. It will give you what you need to type, input in Python on the SCAPI shell in order to send the same packet. So it fills all the possible values. That's a nice trick. Sniff is used to capture packets like TCP dump or Wireshark. So here, sniff count 2, it will sniff 2 packets. In this case, I got 2 UDP packets. I can do many stuff with sniff. For example, only capture 2 packets, and then use this again Pythonic stuff to say, okay, for each packet you receive, please display the summary. So it will give you a really simple TCP dump-like output. Okay, visualization. We have many tricks inside to do pretty things. So first, what I will do, I will gather some data with SR loop, which is sending, in this case, 100 packets to Google Public DNS server. And then I will use a multiplot function in order to plot the IP ID field against time. And the funny stuff here, as you can see, that we have indeed 2 different servers with an incremental IP ID. Here that's 8888, and here that's 8844. Could be useful, for example, for pen test if you want to identify different servers behind NAT. This is, of course, a really silly example. String could be used to build a packet. So take the Python object and give you the stuff you will send on the network. So that's X. It's not really easy to manipulate. What you could do is called XDump. We have XDump in SCAPI. So it's pretty much the same as TCP dump. You have the hexadecimal representation of the packet. So that's likely an IP packet. And then you have the printable characters. Show will display the field's content layer by layer, which is also really nice when you need to look into the fields. This stuff is also nice for reports, or like, for example, to put in slides to teach students. You will get a PDF dump of the packet, and you have the nice colors to say, okay, the IP version 4 that's in this field. Trace route, that's a function embedded in SCAPI. Here I will use it to do a trace route to secdev.org. And the traceroute function gives you back a traceroute object, and the traceroute object has many methods, like world trace. And in this example, it will show the different routers and their location on the globe from my laptop to the destination. So in this case, it's going to the US. I don't know why. Okay, make table. That's another way to represent information. So first, in the first few lines, what I do a TCP scan to these two hosts. I do then a UDP scan to UDP port 33, which is DNS. And then I'm using the make table function, which is a bit complicated, to do this display here. So it looks complicated, but it's not. So the first element here, that's the colon, so the IP address. Then I will display the port, TCP port or UDP port, and then here the state. So it's like XYZ coordinate. So I can see that some ports are closed, some are not, and so on. And I received an ICMP error message. Scapy, that's written in Python, so you can use it as a Python module. So here that's a silly example trying to mimic ping 6. So it's a ping over IPv6. And that's mainly all you need to do. Import Scapy from scapy.all import star and do your thing. Implementing a new protocol is kind of easy. You need to inherit from packets and you need to define fields. So here I will define DNS over TCP. I create a Python object, inherit from packet, and I define two fields. The first one is a length, and the other one that's DNS, which is again a DNS packet. That's all you need to do, and then you can like build a packet, get the string representation, that's a hexadecimal representation, the binary one, and then decode it. That's really, really easy. Then what you can also do with Scapy, instead of using the raw sockets, you can use a stream socket object, which allows Scapy to use a regular TCP socket. So it is, in this example, I'm opening a TCP socket to 8888 again, creating the stream sockets and sending the data. And here I can get the reply, and the reply get the address of example.com. Answering machines, kind of fun. So far, what I described is sending a packet and receiving the reply. So with answering machine, we want to do the opposite, waiting for something and sending back. So that's also really simple to do. I will skip this slide. What you do, you create an object, inherit from answering machine. You define a method called isRequest that's define if the packet you receive is the request you're looking for. So in this example, I'm looking for a .11 pub request frame, and then I will make a reply. This one is a bit complicated, but the important stuff, that is 2 lines. So I'm sending back a Wi-Fi frame with a probe response layer. I'm trying to fake and send a fake Scapy SSID. So on my iPhone, that's the results. So I'm faking and pretending to be a fake access point. So it could be used for, Scapy could be used for IP, regular stuff, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and many other protocols. Okay. That's difficult, but yeah, I don't have much. Okay, I will wait. 1:30. I'm good. Okay, state machines. That's an extended feature of Scapy, and the goal is to build a state machine, something like that, because so far it's only sending and receiving, and sometimes, like for TCP, you want to do something else, like you want to go from SYN to SYN ACK, and so on. So with Scapy, you can do that. Again, you inherit from this object. You define state with a decorator ATMT state, and you define conditions. And conditions they tell you how to go from one state to another. That's advanced usage. That's a bit too much for this short talk, but I wanted to give you an overview of this feature. If you want to go further, of course, you can go to the workshop this afternoon. We'll manipulate pipes. Pipes, again, that's a really advanced Scapy features, but the idea is to get packets, for example, from one interface, ETH0, change stuff on the packet, and forward it to ETH1. So to do on-the-fly modification, it's really nice. NFQ, that's an external module, but could be used to tag packet with IP tables, send them to Scapy, do some modification, and send this packet back. So we'll try to manipulate that this afternoon. Cool stuff. That's also in Scapy. We have native X509 certificate support, which was done by my colleague Maxence. And indeed, the cool stuff is that Scapy can now sign certificates. So here, I'm opening a certificate. I'm converting it to the Scapy certificate. I'm changing here the serial number. I'm done. And then I opening a key, RSI private key, and signing the certificate. That's really nice. And again, please come to the workshop this afternoon if you want to play with that. New things that are not yet merged. We have a native TLS support, which is really powerful. We're able to start a full TLS SSL station. And hopefully, Pierre will soon merge the BSD native support. I don't know where is he, but I want him to do it. Okay. You have questions. You can also send me issues. You can start the project, of course. You can send pull requests. You can give me a beer or whatever.
Thank you very much.